For fluorescence imaging, you want to make sure that you pull the slider all the way out, so you're getting maximum amount of light to the image on the screen. I'm going to adjust this because it's in manual mode right now, so I'm just picking what I want for the exposure time. So you have your plunger on the binoc tube all the way out, so we're getting all the light 100% to the camera. Nothing's going to the eyepieces right now, so I can't see anything in the eyepieces. Got your sample already in focus. You can see it's on focus on the screen. And then right now we're looking at transmitted light. So I have light coming up from down here. You can see it's hitting my fingers when I put my hand on there. So what I want to do is actually block that. Rather than turning it on and off, we can just take this cap that's laying right here next to the scope and put it right on top. Okay, so now black image, nothing coming through. I want GFP, so I want to go, first off, I turned on my light source. Power's right there. It's on. We're at 46%. I'm gonna shutter it. That turns it on. You can hear the fan kicks on sometimes if it needs to be cooled. And I'm gonna switch to GFP, which is number 2 spot. So 1, 2. You see right away the GFP is lit up, and you see on the screen nothing. And that's because I haven't adjusted it yet. But if I just go here and adjust my exposure manually, we'll eventually see something. There it is. So more exposure is all it needed. And obviously my GFP fluorescing is in a slightly different focal plane. So I just do a little correction on the fine focus to get it in focus again, and there you go. Those are my GFPs. So that's how I would use the fluorescence to get the image. And I just used the manual exposure on here. And I'm not even in fluorescence mode right now. This is literally just the bright field mode of the software. The fluorescence mode is this up here. You click that, and now you go into fluorescence mode. And then we have to change it to the green filter because this is the wrong filter. So let's turn that off. But I'm just doing it in black and white right now, just monochrome. Again, if I wanted to dim my signal quickly without having to adjust exposure, let's say I was adjusting over here. Let's say I was this bright, but I wanted to get dimmed quickly. I can just hit one of these neutral density filters and dim my signal. Dim the light, basically it's cutting the light from back here, so it's physically cutting the light, not just the camera saying give it less light to the sensor. So you'll see what it's doing here. And this is just with the 50%. So it just dims it slightly. Okay, here's the 25%, so it cuts a lot more. I think it's allowing 25% light through. And here's allowing 6.3%, so it really cuts it out. Okay, so if you have photo bleaching samples, quickly photo bleaching or anything like that, there's also the shutter here. So you can completely shutter it quickly. And again, that's just cutting the light. You can also shutter with the knob. Just push the button. You see how these have the little lights, so that means it's on, the little symbol there. If I push the button, see it's now just a dash. No lights. On, off. On, off. Okay? And then again, your intensity on this control knob, intensity up, intensity down, and you can see the effect over here. Intensity up, it's getting too much. And here's intensity down. You can put it wherever you want. It's LED, it's gonna last for a long time. But again, quickly shuttering or quickly like physically blocking the light somehow, just use these levers here if you want. They're right on the top back. So that's a quick little fluorescence tutorial as far as how to use it. Let's say I want to go to Texas red. Oops, out of the way. Let's see what that looks like. It's not going to be much on this sample. This sample is more of a, let me just adjust this back down again. There. So this sample is just it's a plant, so obviously it's auto fluorescing everything, but it's good for demo purposes. So there you go. That is how you do fluorescence. And as you rotate these cubes in, obviously the color will change. So there's back to our GFP, and here's our DAPI cube. DAPI's pretty dim on this sample, so I would have to open it up. Or I can also adjust the wheel. Turn it up there. So it's up to 100% already on the wheel. So that's as far as I'm going to go. So now I have to go back over here to the software and make an adjustment here to get it to come up. There we go. And then I have my DAPI signal. And you would see it in the eyepieces if you did switch to eyepieces really quick to take a look. You would see your DAPI signal in there. You can kind of see that. And it's super bright. So yeah, it's pretty bright in there. This camera is very sensitive too, so it's picking up a lot. I usually keep the controller about 50% or less, and that's plenty bright for most samples and for this camera. All right, so that's in general how to do a fluorescence imaging. Just for a single imager, or just for checking your samples. I won't go into the software part. There's tutorials on that already out there. And actually there's tutorials on your desktop here. I put a little tutorial thing with all the videos right there. They're also on YouTube. If you look up Teledyne Luminera, which is right there on the camera. Let's see if I can focus on that. Teledyne Luminera. You Google that on YouTube, that's the YouTube channel, and they'll have all these videos on there for the Infinity Analyze software.